There's one trait that separates grounded men from reactive ones: emotional control, not suppression, not avoidance, but mastery. You don't just feel anger, you witness it. You don't just react to stress, you sit with it. You don't lose yourself in chaos, you lead through it. That's Stoicism in motion. Because in a world where men are told to be louder, faster, more intense, the Stoic man slows down. He doesn't respond on instinct. He responds from clarity. This isn't about being robotic. It's about becoming unshakable. Let's break down exactly how you master emotional control and build the kind of presence no pressure can break. Most men think emotional control means holding it all in, so they suppress anger, bury sadness, fake calm, until eventually they snap. That's not strength. That's fragility dressed as discipline. True emotional control isn't about shutting down. It's about understanding the signal without becoming the signal. When you feel jealousy, you don't deny it. You trace its root. When you feel anger, you don't explode. You observe what it's protecting. When anxiety hits, you don't panic. You slow your breath and take inventory. That's how the Stoic man leads himself, not by pretending to feel nothing, but by never letting emotions run the show. And that's what gives him his edge, under fire, under pressure, under scrutiny. The average man lets his emotions leak everywhere. He texts in panic, defends himself out of fear, breaks down when rejected, explodes when disrespected, and every time he reacts from impulse, he trades power for relief. But that relief is temporary. The damage it leaves, lasting. Because a man who can't hold tension can't be trusted, not by women, not by other men, not even by himself. Stoic control isn't coldness, it's capacity. You don't act out because you feel something. You contain it until you decide what's aligned, not what's automatic. That's when people stop walking over you and start looking to you. Emotional control doesn't start in the mind. It starts in the body. Your heart races. Your breath shortens. Your jaw tightens. That's the body whispering, pressure is here. Most men ignore that signal or get swallowed by it. But the Stoic man listens. He slows his breath, relaxes his face, grounds his feet, opens his posture. Because if you can't control your body, you can't control your frame. And once your body is calm, your thoughts follow. You speak slower. You choose better words. You respond, not react. That's how respect is built, not in victory, but in composure under pressure. Emotional chaos doesn't begin with the world. It begins with the stories you tell yourself. She disrespected me. I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. Those thoughts aren't facts. They're triggers. And if you don't challenge them, they run your emotional world on autopilot. The Stoic man questions everything. Is this emotion true? Or is it old pain speaking? Is this anger useful? Or is it ego trying to survive? Is this fear real or just discomfort in disguise? When you slow the narrative, you regain control. Because emotional power doesn't come from never feeling. It comes from not believing every feeling. That's the shift that makes a man unshakable. Power begins the moment you can sit with a feeling and not flinch. Most men can't handle internal heat. When discomfort shows up, they numb it, distract it, dump it on someone else. But the Stoic man, he stays. He doesn't escape the tension. He lets it build, then lets it burn off. Not by acting on it, by breathing through it. No phone, no validation, no reaction, just presence. And that kind of presence rewires your nervous system. It trains your body to know, I can feel this and still be calm. I can carry this and still be clear. Because composure isn't what you show others, it's what you own inside. Every man gets tested. Your woman snaps at you. Your boss disrespects you. Your friend lets you down. And in that moment, your emotions rise. Rage, shame, disappointment, all begging for a reaction. But how you respond is your reputation in real time. The reactive man argues, defends, proves, or shuts down. But the Stoic man, he pauses. He doesn't let temporary emotion sabotage long-term respect. He doesn't make decisions from the wound. He waits for clarity. Because the most powerful thing you can do in a world of emotional chaos is be the still point in the storm. That stillness earns trust. That trust becomes leadership. When emotion hits hard, you don't need to fix it. You need to outlast it. Most emotional reactions don't last days. They barely last minutes, unless you feed them. That's why the Stoics had a simple rule: give it time. You feel insulted? Wait 24 hours. You want to send that long text? Sleep on it. You feel the urge to lash out, quit, break, or chase? Breathe. Because what feels urgent now won't feel the same tomorrow. And a man who learns to outlive the emotional spike becomes someone who can lead under pressure, not just himself, but others too. That's how you stop being a slave to your triggers and start being trusted through tension. Great men aren't remembered for how loud they got. They're remembered for how calm they stayed. They walk into conflict and lower the temperature. They hear disrespect and don't break character. They face betrayal, loss, chaos, and stay exactly who they are. That's not emotionlessness. That's emotional range. Because the Stoic man feels everything, but chooses what to show, when to move, and how to speak. His silence isn't empty. It's measured. His words aren't many. They're calculated. And when pressure rises, people look to him, not because he has all the answers, but because he doesn't need to react. That's when you stop being part of the chaos and become the anchor inside it. Emotional control isn't just about staying calm. It's about staying firm. Especially when the world tries to bend you. Pressure will ask you to say yes when you mean no. Emotion will beg you to explain when silence would have said more. Fear will push you to please, to soften, to break. But the Stoic man doesn't fold. He doesn't betray his boundaries just to avoid tension. He knows, if you say yes out of fear, you lose self-respect. If you explain just to be understood, you lose frame. If you tolerate disrespect, you teach people how to treat you. That's why control isn't about emotion. It's about integrity. And integrity always costs less than regret. Real emotional control isn't built in chaos. It's built in routine. Through small daily decisions, saying no to what drains you, training when you don't feel like it, delaying comfort to sharpen discipline. Because the man who can delay gratification becomes the man who can't be shaken. He's not controlled by hunger, distraction, lust, or praise. He's not addicted to being understood or validated. He doesn't chase emotional highs. He builds emotional standards. And when a man lives that way long enough, his presence changes. He walks into rooms different. He speaks different. He holds himself with attention that doesn't need to be loud, because it's earned. You want to master emotional control? Start by mastering yourself. Not in big moments, but in the quiet ones. The moment before you react, the pause before you speak, the tension you hold instead of release. Because men who lead their emotions lead their lives. They don't wait to feel ready. They act with clarity. They don't need calm around them. They bring it with them. That's what makes them powerful, not their strength, but their stillness. If you're building that stillness, subscribe and hit the bell. The next video will lock in how to carry calm power through any storm and lead from the center, not the chaos. The strongest man isn't the one who never feels. It's the one who feels everything, but never lets it shake his foundation. He can be hurt but not broken, triggered but not reactive, angry but never out of control. Because he knows, emotion is data, not direction. It's a message, not a command. And once you learn to sit with your fire without letting it burn others, you become dangerous in the best way. Calm under pressure, clear in chaos, rooted no matter what's shaking around you. That's the man people trust. That's the man women respect. That's the man you're becoming. When you master emotional control, you stop being pulled by the world and start leading within it. You're not cold, you're composed, you're not passive, you're present. You don't suppress emotion, you guide it, and that guidance becomes your power, not just in relationships, in life, in conflict, in leadership. Because a man who can lead himself through pressure becomes the kind of man others instinctively follow. What's one emotion that usually controls you? And how will you start mastering it today instead of avoiding it? Drop it in the comments. If this message hit, don't miss how to make women respect you without chasing them, and why always being available makes you less attractive to women. They'll sharpen the edge you carry and help you hold that power in every room, every moment, every test.